Right,
Go on.
guys, Ian Fitzpatrick with me today, Longford Town fan, massive fan. We just did the Greatest 11 video as well, so check that out as well. He's on here now to talk about the season Longford Town have, which in the end, Ethan, was a fantastic season, 2020, wasn't it, for Longford, to be fair?
Yeah, it was brilliant. It probably came as a bit of a surprise. We kind of had I suppose, obviously with the pandemic, it was a stop-start season, and Longford probably lacked that consistency. Every year, I suppose, Longford fans would kind of expect us to be up challenging there to get out of the first division. A very, very tough league to get out of. Coming towards I remember actually being down in Cove when they bet us this season, and I was doing a bit of media for the club. A couple of lads couldn't travel, and they bet us, and they were doing the interview with Dara after the game, like, and kind of just thinking, I think this is it. Like, we're not going to be able to. I was thinking to myself, I don't think we're going to mount a challenge for the title, that sort of way. But then we kind of obviously we had a couple of good results, slipped up then the last day of the season to Wexford, only made it into the playoffs then because other results around us went our way. And then you're kind of thinking, right, well, look, we made it as far as the playoffs. They're only 90 minutes. We'll give it a crack. It would have took playoffs at the start of the season, that sort of way.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I had just for second in the league, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Possibility of actually winning the league, and from that point of view, it's a strange one because from that point of view, it's a disappointing season. But
Yeah.
actually, it ended very well, and I don't think, funnily enough, I don't think a lot of people, had a lot of faith in Longford going into playoffs because of the up and down nature, and you felt like that meant you had to win 3 games in a row basically to actually get into the Premier
Yeah.
Division. That's no mean feat to do that for any team. It's rare it actually happens. Usually, the team as well who finishes ninth actually stays up as well. So, your performances, and there were some interesting, like the UCD one was mad, wasn't it? You were 2-1 down in extra time with 7 minutes to go and went 2-1 down and came back and
Yeah.
won. Not only did you win in penalties, you actually won the game 3-2. I think Joe Gorman, wasn't it, got a late goal there. And then the win against Galway as well, another good win, 2-0 up. You could relax a little bit in that one, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Because obviously Galway got a late goal, but I always felt to get a late goal. But Dervin's strike to make it 2 obviously was brilliant. Like, how did you feel about those games in the playoff?
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there. That like a lot of Longford fans were kind of saying that we weren't consistent enough throughout the season to go for the title. That a big thing, a couple of me and the lads were saying was that we hadn't really put down a 90-minute performance. Like, you could see that we played Galway earlier in the season and we were 2-0 up after half an hour. We were cruising, and next thing, the whole thing just collapsed and lost 6-2. So like, I think when we got to the playoffs, obviously everyone was delighted, but in the back of your head, you were kind of like, Jesus, we've kind of had a couple of big mistakes here throughout the season. But you couldn't fault the players for the playoffs. Like, it was 3 professional performances. Yeah, UCD went ahead. They went ahead 1-0. We came back and got the equaliser. Just in the 90th minute, it was Joe Gorman, yeah. Then it went to extra time. UCD went ahead again. I think it was Made with Lee Stacey made a save and the ball bounced to him. He knocked it in. Next thing, as you said, 7 minutes to go. Up pops Big Joe again, another header, and you're thinking, right, grand. Look, there's 5 minutes to go. Penalties now, and out of nowhere, Dean Byrne, absolute smashed it in top corner as soon as it left his boot. Is what he said. He knew it was going in. So, like, I think the manner in which we won that game, obviously the camp they would have had huge confidence from it. It would have been a major boost, the emotions of winning it with such a late strike, and that would have given them a great boost going into that Galway game. And for 85 minutes of that Galway game, it was a perfect performance, really. I was very surprised with Galway. I don't know if they had lads missing or what the story was, but they kind of just allowed Longford to play in the middle. Like Dervin was giving Akers the space. I don't know, like, compared to earlier in the season when they did put 6 past us, and I think we were 1-0 up. I always thought, it's kind of, you need a second goal because teams are always going to get a chance against you. Everyone's going to get a chance at some stage, whether they take it or not. And then when we got the second goal, I was like, right, this is it. We have it. Obviously, with a couple of ropey minutes at the end, I think it was very unfortunate. Stacey punches the ball and it comes off the back of one of the Galway heads. But then it brings you on to the Shells game, and all week I was quietly confident I was saying it to the lads. I says, this is it. I says, Shells have done us a few times over the year. There's a bit of banter between the fans. They're always kind of saying, that Longford isn't a big club, and I think there's a lot of similarities really between Longford and Shells. We've both probably bigger clubs in our history than what we've done in recent years, So I thought from when Shells got thrown into the playoffs, I thought this is it. This is the biggest chance we have because that Shells team were in disarray, and I was right pretty much.
Yeah, and that'll lead on to the next question. Basically, you were at the game. Tell us
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, so I was at the game in some capacity. All right, I was looking earlier in the season. There, a friend of mine, Max. I won't say his full name in case he shouldn't be there or whatever. Earlier in the season, we were at the UCD game. Actually, we were looking over the hedge. It wasn't for the playoffs, but it was in the league, all right. And look, the game was set for neutral venue in Richmond Park. So obviously the group chats were going during the week, and people, getting excited for the match, and we were saying it's a pity now, no fans, blah blah blah. So I'm not sure who sent who the picture, but I think it was Max that was on to me. It was definitely his idea anyway. But we'd seen a picture of a Pats fan earlier in the month on a balcony. And Max was like, "Oh, that'd be unreal, wouldn't it?" Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Ah, look, I'm just going to watch it at home, because if you went up and then you didn't get in, and you want to see the game." So he was like, "If I sorted, would you go?" And I was like, "Oh, I wouldn't let you down," that sort of way, So anyway, didn't really think too much of it, I knew. I thought Max might try it because I know he doesn't live too far away from Richmond Park. So the moral of the story was, anyway, he pulled off an absolute worldie, and next thing I know, I'm setting up a Section O banner on. I'm telling you, I've done away trips for Ireland, and I've been in some stadiums, and it was probably the best view I've ever had in any stadium. You could see everything perfect, the corner flags, the whole works. It was like being in a corporate box. But it was fantastic, and I think what made it even more magic was the fact that Manly scored in front of us, and all the players ran over to that end, and they were cheering and pointing up, and it kind of nearly felt like you were celebrating the goal with them, that sort of way.
Did you have the pyro out at that stage?
I think there was pyro there now. It wasn't me. It wasn't, if anyone's asking. The dolphin made an appearance then as well. I know a good few fans are from other clubs are like, "What's the story with the dolphin?" Basically, obviously in the first division, we've been there for the last number of years, and our good away trip is to Cove, because Cove play their home games on a Saturday. So usually kick-off would be maybe 7 o'clock or that, and you'd leave Longford on the bus. The few people that you would rope into going might leave around 1 o'clock in the day or whatever, and there'd be a few beverages consumed on the way down. Lovely hospitality put on by Cove. They have a little bar at the ground there. They've always thrown on a bit of food for us and stuff, and I suppose the brave souls that are there kind of make a huge racket for the 90 minutes. It's just like our kind of every season when the fixtures come out, it's always the one that I'm like, Cove away, and pushing bodies for it. And just one year, I just happened to be in town a couple of days beforehand, and I seen this inflatable dolphin, and I said, "Sure, look, I'll bring this for the laugh now. It'll be a bit of crack," and got into the ground and blew it up before the teams walked out, and started throwing it around, I suppose. And I think the stewards were trying to take it off us, and we were singing stupid stuff like "You'll never get the dolphin" and stuff like this. So I think from that moment then, the dolphin just was a regular occurrence for Cove. So I suppose when Max had sorted out the corporate box, if you want to call it, I was like, well, we'll have to bring the dolphin, so I organised getting one of the Section O flags, and the dolphin sent up. So it was ready to rock. And it was just some fantastic photographs taken then at the end. And I suppose another moment I'd probably never forget, supporting Longford Town. And even at the end then, the players done, there was a couple of fortunate lads inside the ground, Kieran Burke, Gary Riley, they're good friends of mine now. They've done Trojan work for the media side of things, and obviously James Donnelly was on the pitch doing the media after the game. But the players all lined up and done like a slide into the stand But they done that then, and me and Maxie had our hands over the balcony like this, and they actually ran down and slid in front of us, like, and just the two of us. And obviously the lady that let us in was there, who has no interest in football really, and just probably thought that the two of us should be in a psychiatric ward somewhere, getting our heads checked, because we had an inflatable dolphin and we were on some balcony. But look, it was magic. It was great to go up this year. It's just really lifted the county. I think, I don't know if you've seen, there was a kind of a big, I don't know what they called it, but there was a big kind of parade through the town of cars. Longford it has had great support down throughout the years. There's a lot of people there that I know that mightn't even go to games, but would always support the town. I know one there is, even Gary's good friends with mine. I know his granny used to always buy the lotto there in the town, and she'd always be asking how the Longford were doing, and she'd be listening out to results, but she might never set foot out in Flanker. So there's a lot of people like that would support the club, and look, I'm just delighted to have them back up in the Premier Division, with all the uncertainty of this season, and even like who's going to be in the First Division next year and things like that. It's nice just to not have that in your head and just be saying, right, we're in the Premier Division, we're going to be in FIFA, we're going to give it a crack.
More importantly, it will be in FIFA. It'll be a year later, but we'll be in FIFA. But those stories, it's what the League of Ireland's about, actually, really. I mean, just, whoever's watching can listen to that and just think to themselves, look, those stories, buying Dolphins out in Gove, the hospitality you get from away, home support for the away support and that kind of thing. So you don't see that in bigger leagues, earlier we were saying in the previous video, how you pretty much know the players or the fans, and does that connect, at least in the League of Ireland, that a lot of people outside looking in, they don't appreciate. They might just concentrate and focus on the football part of it, but they don't appreciate that side of it, which for me is the side of League of Ireland.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of the side of the league that has to be marketed to people. Because, look, I don't really follow any of the football across the water. Even if there was a match on the telly there now, I wouldn't be able to name you the starting 11 for some of these big teams across the water. And people are like, Jesus, how, you're such a big soccer fan, do you not support anyone over there? And I'm like, no, it's just Longford Town in Ireland, But I think I see a lot of people, and I can understand why they do support teams over there. There's a good few Longford fans there, and they support your United or they support your Liverpools, stuff like that. And I can understand it. It's a top level of football, and all that sort of stuff. But for me, I don't get the appeal, because I know if I go over there, I'm one in 80,000 people, and I'm just another bum on a seat. Whereas I know me going out to Longford match, that 10 or 15 euro that I pay, or the little bit of money that I spend in the shop, that's what's going to keep the club going. And it kind of has a knock-on effect then for the town, and I can get involved. For a few years there, I done a couple of the buses. Suppose I do a bit of the social media. This year now was the first time I had to actually video a couple of the games, because the one of the lads was away. It's kind of all them people in the background that give so much time towards the club, the unsung heroes off the pitch, and I think that's really what makes the League of Ireland so special. And it's the same faces in every club, if you know what I mean. So you could travel to Cove tomorrow and it'd be the same faces you seen there 10 years ago, with the same, how are you getting on, lads, and there's a bit of food for you there. I'm looking forward to being back in the Premier now and seeing some of the friends that I would have, some of the friends from different clubs there. And I think, as you said there, the hospitality as well. There is a rivalry between clubs, all right, but you're able to go and have a drink with a lad that supports a different club, and then go out and watch the match and chat about it after. It's not really, it's not really. I don't know what the word is. Green Street, I suppose. Even though some of them Dublin derbies do get reported as that, but it's not League of Ireland fans. That sort of way. It's just lads acting the maggot, really. But yeah, look, it's great. It's a great league. I love the social media side of it. Yourself here doing the vlogs. You have some great podcasts there as well. I was on a couple this year now, throwing the head into it. enough people, I talk enough tripe, I know, so enough people probably are sick of hearing me now. But things like that the league has to offer. It's just a pity that it's not from the actual league itself, if you know what I mean. I suppose this season, I like the Twitter, and this season I'm gonna butcher his name. I can't think. It's a Galway fan there called Paul. He's an unusual second in there, and he does all the videos and stuff like that. Like
Oh yeah.
not to have him involved. Like some of the videos, I think he put up a video there for the league launching, and it just went viral. And the league page put up a league video, and it was like something I put together compared to him, that sort of way. And if he's able to do it, there's no reason why the league can't. And I don't think it'd take that much investment either.
No.
And especially after what's happened this year, a lot of people took a lot of things for granted, and sport was probably one. So you're going to have a lot of people next year, if we are allowed to go to games, they're probably, I'll go back out to that, they kind of...
hunger and your desire to go and watch a football game, smell the grass, things like that, be freezing cold, is part of it, I always say as well. You get some people going to games and, it'll be freezing cold, but that's almost part of it. It's everything mind comes to it. You watch a match on telly, Chelsea, Man United, I would sit and watch a match, but it's not the same as going to an actual football game in our league.
But it's just because you're there, you can if you shout something or if a goal goes in, the players are only a couple of yards in front of you, and as you said, you can get friendly with the players and they recognize the faces and stuff like that. But I think there's not enough done. The clubs can only do so much themselves to try and get people out there, but the league really has to up its game. One thing there, even the playoffs, if you weren't involved with them, you wouldn't have even known they were on. It's the same with the FAI Cup. You might hear the odd result on the radio, and that's about it. But there's a lot of times there, say obviously we're in the first division, and you wouldn't know what Premier Division fixtures are on.
It's not in people's faces. That's the point. You have to go look at it, don't you? It's not the way the GAA. It's in your face, isn't it? It's even if you don't say you didn't follow it, you still have an idea, don't you?
Yeah, you'd still hear what's
going on. But you don't hear that with the League of Ireland. You really do have to go searching. So there's an awful lot of work in that regard that needs to be done. And, you're hoping, but we haven't talked about the same thing for a long, long time as well, which is disappointing too.
But I think, as I said there, I think all the unofficial stuff is kind of pushing it as well, because it's given it that platform, like yourself and other people that are doing videos and podcasts and stuff like that, because it's probably getting out a bit more than word of mouth. So you probably obviously have people that or the people that I know now that have no interest in the League of Ireland, but they'll see this video and be like, oh Jesus, he's talking about the League of Ireland. They might only listen to 5 seconds of it, they might listen to 5 minutes of it, but at least it might spark something in them, that sort of way.
At least there's something there, I suppose, that kind of way as well. I'll get into your 3 best performers of the season. I don't know if this is a difficult question for you, is it?
Yeah, geez, this isn't pre-prepared anyway. You're gonna.
I got
him. 3 best performers. I suppose A is probably number 1. That comes to mind. Probably, I think you said you had him in your first division team of the season. Fantastic performance. And then Joe Manley, centre half, unbelievable this season. Has had a fantastic season, really, really good season. He came in last year, probably he said himself in a couple of interviews there, he didn't get the minutes he wanted. Put himself into the team this year on merit. We went to 3 at the back for a part of the season as well, and just absolute unbelievable season for him. He'll be a big name in the future, and that brings me on to number 3, his brother. the Manley up top. He had a great season as well, some vital goals. He mightn't have got as many goals as he got last season, but I suppose last season I think he was playing part of a front 2. This year he was probably playing more of a different role. He was up there by himself, and if you talk to any of the Longford fans, he was just an absolute workhorse. He just ran himself into the ground, every ball chasing for it. And you could see that mentality in Joe at the back as well, just never say die attitude, just giving it everything for. So I suppose the 2 Manleys and A, you could pick anyone in that team, you could, Aaron McNally came in there, had a fantastic season. There's lads there that didn't even play that many minutes, but anytime they got the chance, you have the likes of young McCabe came on, scored 2 goals against Wexford that time, scored the goal against Galway. I know he was dubbed the baby-faced assassin in the commentary, but like, you know, like there's players there that'll probably won't be remembered as, like, you know, their name won't be up in the headlights as much as your nailed on starting 11, but they were just as influential this season as the starting 11, because it's a squad you need to go up, obviously. So like even Callum Moorfield there came on in a couple of games, great hold up play. He was the one that took the ball in and laid it off to Dean Byrne at the end of the UCD game for that strike. So, you know, like these players that just like probably hadn't played much League of Ireland ball and just stepped up to the mark so much this season. Yeah, I know we said there was inconsistencies and stuff like that. You could probably put a bit of that down to the fact that they hadn't played much minutes, but they just,
now, though.
Yeah, you can't knock their lack of effort. That's what I'm trying to get across there. You know, they just gave everything, and I think it was just came at the right time. The 3 games just came at the right time, and here we are. We're back, baby.
If you had to pick one performance of the season, now obviously the most memorable would have to be the Shelbourne, but best actual performance, what would you choose?
Oh, geez, that's a tough one. Like you could go right back to the very start of the season, beating Drogheda away 1-0. It was a good goal by Sam Verdon. That's actually a tough one. What's the best performance? Because like you're only as good as your last game, and we bet Shells. They're gone. They're gone. I think you'd have to go with one of the playoff games, because they were the only games that we gave a full 90-minute performance.
Maybe.
Pardon?
All-week performance, possibly.
Yeah, they got in the playoff for earlier in the season when we bet them. Oh, in the playoff. Yeah, I think the Galway one was good, but I think for all-rounded performance, you'd probably have to go for the Shells game. Kept the clean sheet. Dominated them for the whole game. I don't want to keep harping on about they're relegated or whatever, but if you were neutral in that game from your point of view, I don't think you would have been able to say Shells were the Premier Division team. Look, the sending off obviously changed it a bit for them and stuff like that, but right up until the sending off, they looked like they were on the back foot. Longford we probably weren't just clinical enough on the day, but you always knew we were going to get a chance, and I know the goal was deflected in, but look, you need that rub of the green. But I think, I don't think Lee Stacey really had a save to make, you know.
No, definitely. You have to give Rob Manley a lot of credit in that game, actually, because you miss a penalty in a big game like that. I mean, your confidence can be on the floor, you know what I mean? But he kept going. He managed to score.
Here's me giving out earlier saying why our centre backs taking it, let the strikers take it, you know. But I think a great view of it, obviously, of the penalty, and I was like, when we got the penalty, I was like, this is it. And then when he hit it over, I suppose my initial reaction was, oh no, but on the other side of it, I was like, Jesus, we have these rattled, we have these here for the taking. If we can just lift it now for the next couple of minutes, forget about it, right? Look, we missed the penalty, we missed a chance. I know Dara Doyle and John Martin took him aside in the dressing room and mentioned to him about Barry Ferguson missing a penalty in the cup back in the day, and us winning that cup, you know. So we were always going to get chances, and it was about him taking his chance when it came, and he did that in the second half. And I don't think anyone's going to ever remember that penalty miss. It'll always be about Longford getting the win. But look, I probably have the earboard off, you know, at this stage, do I?
Before I let you go, though, I do want you to answer. What do you think? How do you think they're going to go next season? Basically, I mean, I know it's difficult. There's no transfers being made yet, and all that kind of thing, and it is a big jump, to be honest with you, because I've seen it myself. What are your hopes?
I think it's funny the way you get promoted and then straight away it's like, oh, they're going straight back down. You know, I just think it's a mad league that it's like you have this such a high, you're like celebrating, yes, we've done it, we're back, we're in the big time, and then everyone's just like, yeah, but you're going straight back down, you're gone. Just enjoy your year, you know. So that's
one thing. It does take the pressure off, in fairness, I don't think you can say Longford are going straight back down at this point.
No.
Because we don't know what way the squad's going to be.
Well, I think we've probably learned a lot from the last time we were up in 2014. We obviously had a good ish season. The first year we stayed up, we finished all right, but then we had that second season syndrome and just came straight back down. Didn't really have any fight in us or anything like that. So just saying that we can't really be signing players from teams that went down or say mid-table first division unless they were really a standout player. Like, we need to get in. My personal opinion, we need to get in maybe 3 to 4 good players, bit of Premier Division pedigree. You want to be trying to attract the bigger players. Obviously, a lot comes down to budget and the club and finances, things like that. But look, it's a good, if we can keep the core that we have, it's a great core to build on. But we're definitely going to need to make a few signings. I think one thing that probably is in favour with us is the fact that us and Drogheda went up. And obviously, look, Drogheda won the league. We fell away. But really, there's not too much between the teams. You know what I mean? Like, we bet them once at the start of the league or whatever. I think it was a 1-1 draw in Flanker.
Drogheda didn't beat us last season.
Yeah, anyways. I think it was a 1-1 draw in Flanker, and then we bet them in Drogheda at the start of the year. So, like, they've signed probably the bones of their squad back now. So that's kind of who you're going to be rivaling with, them, Finn Harps. You don't know what Waterford are going to be like next year. Sligo, even Pats. Pats didn't. Your team, they didn't really have a great season this year. They signed well, but a lot of the. And then with everything that went on this year and the stop-start season, you don't know how that affected players as well. You could have a player that had not a great season this year because of the whole pandemic and things that were going on in the background with work and family life and things like that. Whereas next year, you could hit the ground running and be one of the key names for your team. So look, there's a lot of football to be played. I don't think you can write us off anyway. Obviously, everyone will always say, "Geez, I'd bite your hand off to be safe, no matter what." But look, I think the fact that we went up in 2014 and we stayed up for one season and then came back down the second season, I think a lot of lessons will be learned. It's the same faces around, and I think we'll just have to invest a little bit. Obviously, don't go above our means, but I think just we'll have learned a few lessons from that. And look, I think Dara has the style of play there that the fans enjoy. He's a good excuse me. John Martin is there as well. He was back, like another great Longford Town man. So I wish them all the success for the season. Look, if we go up and come straight back down, so be it. At least we'll get a trip to Cove.
Well, they could come up, You'll still be supporting them anyway.
That's the thing. Look, I think you have so many years of hard times that you have to just enjoy. I know I put up a tweet there the other day that the last time we got promoted, we had 33 league games and I was at 32 of them. I only missed one. I was over actually with a couple of lads at Ireland playing Gibraltar over in Portugal, and we couldn't get back. But it's the memories, and like in 10, 15 years time, we could be in Europe, we could be gone bust, we could be at the bottom of the first division. That's just the madness of the League of Ireland. Like, you can take solace from the Dundalk stories, from your Cork, from your Shells. So like just that's the way it is. So I'm just really looking forward to the buzzing since we got up, and the hype, and just it was a pity we couldn't celebrate. We'd done a bit of a Zoom call, all right, with a couple of lads, and it was enjoyable, and a couple of the players dropped in. But I'm just hoping now, come February, March, that people are allowed to go back to the games and get to see the faces and get to talk about the season.
I hear you. I hope that as well. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate that. Really enjoyed that. Best of luck to Longford next season as well. Thanks, Ethan.
Thanks very much. Enjoyed it there myself. Hopefully I ramble on for too much. You'll probably have to edit a good bit of it. But look, fair play to you. As I said, it's great to have a platform for the League of Ireland and people with such passion trying to drive it on. So I know you're probably only about a year doing this yourself, are you? Or maybe longer?
Mostly a year,
yeah. So look, onwards and upwards, and I wish you the best of luck with it.
Thanks very much. Fair play to you. Thank you.